Somewhere deep inside NATO's operational planning centers, analysts are staring at satellite imagery that doesn't match their models. No explosions, no declarations, no dramatic mobilizations, just quiet, deliberate movements across Russia's western military districts that are forcing the alliance to rewrite assumptions it held for over a decade. This isn't about one weapon system. It isn't about one breakthrough technology. This is about a pattern. And in 2026, that pattern is quietly making NATO's war plans look dangerously outdated. For years, NATO built its entire defensive doctrine around predictability. Russian force movements were expected to be slow, centralized, and visible from space long before they became operationally relevant. Deployment timelines were assumed to give Western intelligence enough warning to position countermeasures. Command structures were believed to be rigid, reliant on Cold War-era logistics, and easy to disrupt once conflict began. That framework just collapsed. What Russia is demonstrating now is the exact opposite. Modular deployments, dispersed formations, systems designed to operate under constant surveillance without ever revealing decisive intent. NATO isn't reacting to a single event, it's reacting to a sustained operational shift that changes everything. One of the most critical changes is integration. Russia is no longer fielding isolated platforms that NATO can pick apart one by one. Older tanks are being paired with upgraded fire control systems. Artillery units are networked with drone reconnaissance in real time. Electronic warfare assets are embedded at the battalion level instead of being centralized at division headquarters. Air defense batteries are layered with long-range sensors and mobile launchers that refuse to stay in one place long enough to be targeted. What NATO is seeing isn't a collection of separate military branches. It's a single, layered combat ecosystem where every element supports the others. War games that once relied on isolating and neutralizing individual threats are now producing results that make NATO planners deeply uncomfortable. Deployment depth is another factor forcing strategic reassessment. Russian forces are no longer massing near borders in obvious concentrations. They're positioning assets further back, relying on extended-range precision fires, loitering munitions, and drone swarms to project power forward without exposing vulnerable formations. This fundamentally stretches NATO's response timelines. Air defenses must now cover vastly larger areas. Logistics hubs that once felt safely distant are suddenly within engagement envelopes. Command centers that operated under the assumption of geographic buffers are now realizing those buffers no longer exist. Distance, once a defensive advantage, is being erased by range. Then there's tempo. Russia's 2026 deployments aren't designed for rapid territorial breakthroughs. They're structured for sustained operational momentum, constant pressure, probing attacks that force defenders to rotate units, burn through reserves, and make decisions under relentless stress. NATO's defensive systems are built to repel concentrated assaults, not to endure months of uninterrupted contact without relief. The longer this kind of momentum is maintained, the more strain it places on manpower, equipment availability, and political cohesion within the alliance. Wars of endurance don't favor the side with better technology. They favor the side that can sustain pressure without breaking. Electronic warfare is now baked into every level of Russian deployment strategy. NATO forces used to assume reliable communications, uninterrupted ISR coverage, and seamless data sharing across the battlefield. That assumption is gone. Russian units are now fielded with organic jamming capabilities at the company and battalion level. That means from the moment contact begins, NATO forces will be operating in degraded communication environments. Exercises that once depended on real-time intelligence fusion are being completely rewritten. Commanders are now training for scenarios where they lose contact with higher headquarters, where drones go silent, where GPS becomes unreliable. In simple terms, NATO is being forced to plan for wars where information superiority is contested from minute one. Airspace control is undergoing a similar reassessment. Russian deployments now pair mobile air defense systems with forward drone screens and long-range early warning radars. This creates overlapping engagement zones that make NATO's traditional reliance on rapid air superiority far more costly. It's not that NATO aircraft can't operate, it's that doing so now means accepting higher losses, reduced sortie rates, and constrained freedom of action. War plans that once assumed air dominance within 72 hours are now including scenarios where contested skies persist for weeks. And contested skies change everything about ground operations, logistics, and casualty evacuation. What makes all of this especially concerning for NATO is sustainability. These aren't surge deployments designed for short-term posturing. They're structured to be maintained over time, even under economic sanctions and international pressure. That tells NATO planners something critical. Russia is planning for endurance, not quick resolution. And endurance conflicts favor the side that adapts faster, rotates forces more efficiently, and maintains political will under prolonged strain. NATO's strength has always been technological superiority and rapid response. Russia is now forcing the alliance to compete in a domain where those advantages matter less. Behind closed doors, adjustments are already happening. Force posture reviews are accelerating across NATO member states. Procurement timelines for munitions, air defense systems, and electronic warfare platforms are being reassessed. Training exercises are shifting focus from high-intensity, short-duration engagements to prolonged, multi-domain operations under communications degradation. None of this is public panic. It's professional recalibration, the kind that happens when models stop matching reality. This doesn't mean conflict is inevitable, but it does mean the strategic environment has fundamentally changed. Russia's deployment patterns in 2026 are quietly rewriting the operational rulebook NATO has relied on since the Cold War ended. The alliance isn't reacting to fear, it's reacting to evidence. And that evidence suggests future conflicts, if they happen, will look nothing like the wars NATO spent decades preparing to fight. In modern warfare, the most dangerous shifts aren't always loud. Sometimes they happen quietly, unit by unit, system by system, until one day, planners look up and realize the old assumptions no longer hold. That moment has arrived, and NATO knows it. If you want daily breakdowns of the weapons that actually decide wars, smash that subscribe button and hit the bell right now. New drop every single day.